By the way, one of my students surprised me and slipped in here far. All right, I am also a culinary educator at a Scoffier School of Culinary Arts Online. So, what do we talk about? Yes, I am a trained chef. I'm a graduate of Le Cordon Bleu. But for me, it went beyond that. They don't have my slide. This isn't my slide. But anyway, I'm going to keep talking like it is. So Brandon, I think Brandon was in my head, because a lot of what Brandon said was in my slide. So he talked about balance. Balance, no matter who you are, is necessary. All across the board. A term that we have in culinary arts is pronounced mise en place. M-I-S-E, second word, E-N, and place. Visually, place looks like place because it's related to setting up, for us chefs, all the ingredients prepped and ready to go so that we can cook. It helps us with the dance. Because when we cook, we hear music in our heads. And you're probably hearing a little accent there, or maybe two. I am from Barbados, so every now and then my Bajan accent come out. Then there's also Brooklyn. I grew up in Brooklyn, so the two of them love to play, okay? So, why it's important to have your mise en place set up, besides allowing you to flow through this dance. You've heard mama or daddy or uncle in the kitchen cooking. No music is playing, but you hear, mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? Anyone? I can't hear you back there. It brings soul to the food. The food is connecting with what's inside of them. Another reason why, don't worry, that's not me. We're gonna just keep going, okay? All right. So, another reason why they're so joyful as they cook is because they know the contents in every ingredient. As a chef, my job is to know the contents within. It is then why I can manipulate the ingredients and take them to higher heights. Do you know that every ingredient or everything you eat has sugar or salt in it? No? Mm-hmm. As a chef or a cook, it is your job to either maximize on one and suppress the other, especially if it's sugar, right? And then when we talk about health, we have to watch the salt intake. We don't want our food to be salty. So what am I saying? It's all about technique. In our world, those techniques will be broiling, frying, sauteing. We have to know these things because one or the other can bring forth different fruit, no pun intended. So I'm going to ask you a question. So you're roasting something, let's say a bird, Cornish hen or something like that. I'm not going to say a turkey because then you'll be thinking Thanksgiving. We right here right now in the spring. There she is. All right. So, when you roast a turkey, what is the one thing you go back and peek for? Come on, I know y'all cook. Huh? I can't hear you. But is there a color, sir? Huh? Caramelization is what we call it. Now, where does that come from? Sugar, right? You have to identify these things so that you can transform the ingredients. So let's flow right into Coco. Health at every size and mindful eating. Eating affects that every size thing. He's so right. You do have to move around. You really do. If you sit still and you keep consuming, and by the way, you have to watch what you eat, of course. Yes, the popcorn is good, but everything in moderation. Can't hear me? Oh, the clicks. Okay, y'all just wanted to see me again up there, so I took it back. All right, so everything in moderation. Let's go into the flow. As you can see, Coco here, that's my alter ego, so I can talk about her like that. She likes that. Look at her station. You see nice bright colors. Oranges, lemons, and Brandon mentioned limes and lemons. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, right? When your food looks appealing, you want to eat it. He said, if you just have an abundance of the fruits, even though they look good, people kind of figure, it's healthy. We do this thing that we call trick them, man. Trick them. How do you do that? It's all in the presentation. All in the presentation. So, you know, I used to dress celebrities and things, and usually when you have an audience, you play with them until you think do what it's supposed to do. There she is again. All right. We are an array of sizes. Isn't this true? Right? Hello? Right? We come in different packaging. It is up to you, the individual, like I said, with the ingredients, to know what your contents is. A lot of that comes from your history. Okay? So that also helps you to understand what you need to eat for your body. I say that array is what makes us who we are. It's that mix. What you didn't know is that I was also a fashion designer in the entertainment industry. So it taught me about body structure, how to camouflage, different things, right? But it's all art. This all adds, as I say, that little dash of radiance. Brandon talked about exercise, so did I. This was me right before COVID. I was on the go. I moved to Tampa, and I was moving. What was I doing? Walking. And he talked about water. I ain't gonna tell you what my weight is, but I drink half of my body weight in ounces of water every day. So I'm just coming back from Dubai, doing the same conference over there. And I said branding was in my head. I went to Dubai, suited up and everything ready to go, and my body went through this, I don't know you, the jet lag. I bloated. I didn't even eat anything. So I started drinking more water because whatever was going on, I needed to flush it. So physical activity, let's remove the word exercise. Some people just don't like hearing that. So physical activity, walking, running, bike riding, swimming, yoga. How many of you do one or the other? Right? You want to know what's another great way to exercise? How many of you do gardening? No. You said no? Let me tell you. When you get in the garden, you sweat like within 10 minutes. Seriously. You literally sweat because you're moving, you're digging, and so forth. And then, guess what? You're becoming one with the food and the earth. All right? So you see the lady there stretching? Hold on, I'm going back. All right. So the part about mindful eating, I love my food to be fresh. If I'm serving guests, the food must be fresh. Quality is everything. So you know when you go into the supermarket, especially over in that produce side, everything is bright and colorful. Do you know why that is? Anyone? I see you nodding your head, ma'am. Chlorophyll. It also has to do with the setup to pull you into the store. The layout of a supermarket is a form of scientific marketing. So you're going to have all of the bright fruits and so forth to pull you in. All right? So I say food is our vehicle. We need food to keep our bodies going. So choose wisely. I recommend get to know your fishmonger, even someone at the grocery store. You know, the freshest meats come in, they'll call you. But farmers markets. Visit the farmers market, understand the products that they're growing, and the farmers love to talk to you. They'll tell you about the food. And there's that term, mise en place. It simply means everything in its place. And the only reason why I started off with that first is because I had to fill in. But when I learned what mise en place meant, I was going through this training, chef's training at Le Cordon Bleu, and it's like a light bulb went off inside of me. Mise en place, what do you mean, everything in its place? Do you know this doesn't just pertain to food? There's a mise en place for life. Everything is situated in a way to help you on your journey, to give you balance, because that's what we need. We have to have balance, even with your portions. If you overdo one thing, you're canceling out the other. So, how many of you on Thanksgiving, I'll use Thanksgiving again, you fill that plate up, not even just to the brim, but over the rim and so forth? I see you back there. That's what we call eating with your eyes. But you know you can't finish that. So I'm going to put it down for later and dare somebody to go eat it, right? Eat in portions. Because what you're doing is fooling yourself. And you become very full. And if you eat and then drink something, that liquid, especially water, fills you up. Balance is key. So no, I didn't do the 4 food groups, but it is important, right? Portion size matters. You want to eat quality, healthy food. You need to know where your food is coming from. This is very, very important now, and it's going to be very important going forward. Also, eat in moderation. That's why I brought up the Thanksgiving and overeating. When you eat to overeat or stuff, you're not allowing yourself to fully digest the food. What happens? You go take that nap, right? Do you know eating and lying down is like one of the worst things to do? The food just sits there. Take a walk. And then we have fruits. Fruits can be really good, appetizing and so forth, but again, what's in fruits? Sugar. So you have to monitor it. Veggies? Who likes Brussels sprouts? Oh, I like it. How do you like them? You better say it again. What did you say?
Oven roasted.
Oven roasted. You too? Who have not had oven roasted Brussels sprouts? The first thing you think, oh, it's bitter. But that roasting, we talked about the caramelization. As it roasts, the sugars within rise up. And it takes away some of that bitterness, if it's done right. Trimmed, a little olive oil, a little salt and pepper. You put it in the oven and let it roast, man. Sweet, sweet. And then, of course, your grains, which is another thing you have to be careful of, right? So, rice can also fall in that line. Rice is also a starch. Again, portion size, because starches contain what? Sugar. And when the carbs and so forth break down, where are they going to go? Right into your body. And if you're not moving around, it's just going to sit there and build up. Spices and herbs. I remember as a little girl in Barbados, we grew our foods. I tell you right now, I remember we had a banana tree in the backyard. Well, several. And I would go in the backyard, and there'll be like this big bunch of bananas. I'm not talking about what you see in the store. That's called a hand. I'm talking about a bunch that could be, without my stilettos on, about my height. Seriously. And they grow to this beautiful green color. And every so often, I'll run back outside and peek to see when the first one is going to start turning yellow. Beautiful yellow. So I pluck it and I sit under the tree and eat it. Right now, I can still taste it. It's extremely fresh. But you feel like you had something to do with its rearing. And then herbs. You want to add a pop of something? Get some fresh herbs. Rosemary, thyme. That's just a few of them. Sage. Have you ever touched the basil leaf? And then, it smells like somebody's Italian kitchen, right? These are all fresh. The one thing you don't want to do is add too much heat to them. What happens? It destroys it. It wilts it. It's not pretty anymore. So these herbs are pretty much best used as a form of garnish. And this last one is what I just mentioned about drinking at least half your body weight in ounces of water. But look at the display there. You have some of everything on there. You have proteins, you have the grains and the breads, you have pastas, fruits, and look at that salad, and avocados. Avocados became this big thing now. Oh God, I knew avocados from a long time. And it's always been an avocado. But it's beautiful. So, I talked about the farm. This is Coco. We have a youth farm in St. Petersburg, Florida. So I love to go out and mix it up with the youth. Another way to get some exercise in, because they love to move around a lot. But to watch them take care of these seeds, to watch them plant them, and then watch the ingredient grow. It's such a beautiful thing. All our kids are not out there just running in the street. These kids and many others around the country come to a farm. This day they wanted me to come in and make some crepes for them. And that's what I did. But this is their farm right there. And we cooked it up. Look at them just sitting there and they're smiling. So this is Coco in action. By the way, that's me. It's not my twin. All right, that's me, the chef. And here I was making some black rice. How many of you heard of black rice? Oh, where you from? Florida. You from Florida? Who made black rice for you? Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Do you know black rice? We talked about the grains. It's healthier than the regular long grain rice. And you can add flavor to it, right? Don't let the color black thing. I paired that up with some sauteed shrimp and a chutney that I made, a 4-pepper chutney. And Brandon talked about that lemon or lime. You want to add a pop of flavor to anything? Slice that lime up. More so a lime, I say, than a lemon. And that's something else in the islands we used to go and pluck off the tree. Slice it. It's good on fish. Take that lime and just squeeze it on there. It elevates the flavor. It intensifies it. So you don't have to use a lot of salt. We have everything that we need. What is that term? Come on, you can speak French with me. Mise en place. You have everything that you need to live and eat healthier. Or should I say mindfully? Right? Yeah, some wine there too. In moderation, a little bit of wine. So, this is my book. I know everyone's, are you going to do a cookbook? No, there's too many cookbooks out there. Everybody cooking. So, my culinary journey taught me about life. And it taught me that even in life, you have ingredients. You have food ingredients, and then you have ingredients for the process. So, you know the term, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. As a chef, you're going to just make lemonade. We can make lemon sugar, lemon pies, lemon tarts. Why in the world would I just make lemonade? That's a gift from the Almighty that can do so many things. Do you know you can grill the lemon? No? Nobody? Who grills in here? I know we have some grillers. Look at. You never grilled a lemon? Cut that lemon in half. Put it on the grill. We talked about caramelization. You see the sugar popped up in there. You thought the lemon was sour. You can use it as garnish, or again, it gives the lemon a smoky flavor that now can be added to fish, grains, meats, right? So I named my book, Turn Your Sours into Sweet. Because as a cook, I see ingredients, the artist in me, before I even taste it, I know what each ingredient tastes like, and it's my job to cook up one heck of a feast in my head first, so that when I go to the pan, I now control the heat source and allow all of the other ingredients come together, like the choir in church, so that they can sing, hallelujah. Because when it gets to you, it's like the angels inside singing, because that gift or those gifts with your hands that's gifted can elevate them to higher heights. So this is why I never started out wanting to be a chef. I didn't want to be no chef. My mother was a chef. I said, I didn't want to do that. I didn't even want to be a teacher. Go ahead and make plans. What's the saying? Make plans and God would laugh at you. Now I'm speaking. So we're on a journey. And one of the most ingredients that I treasure is passion, because of people like her. Those of you that just came and stand up for her. She's one of my students from Escoffier. When I was in Dubai 2 weeks ago, one of my students was sitting in the audience. I had no idea. And I asked her, I said, I'm going to give you some scallops. I asked the audience, who likes to cook? And she sat up there. I said, okay, I'm going to give you some scallops and this and this. And because I teach them, cook it in your head and tell me about it. Your mouths should be salivating because of the description. And I'm listening to her, and I'm like, this girl sounds like me. And I said, wow, that's incredible. You have all of our mouths salivating. She said, I learned that from you, chef. And the picture, the freeze picture that the conference has is my face looking like, what? She said, I was one of your students. So you never know where you're going to go. You never know who's watching. And the gentleman asked about encouraging, I would say encourage or inspire others to kind of follow suit. I say lead by example. I ain't here to force nobody. You understand that? You understand what I just said? We can't force anyone. But when they watch you, whether you're strutting, whether you're doing a twirl, whether you're cooking, plating up a dish, or even eating, you're always being watched. So one of my greatest ingredients is love. Do you know it's the currency of this planet? And for everything, I am grateful. Everything. So, again, I love food, I love color, but no, I do not have a restaurant. My purpose is to meet people like her and ignite within them part of their process. Allow them to understand that every one of us, everything in life has a mise en place. You have to put yours together. So, the gentleman earlier was talking about Africa. Now, I told you in Barbados as a little girl, wasn't a farm, but we had animals. So my heart now is pulling to Africa. I'm going to Africa, to Ghana in particular, in August, because now I want to get into farming. And from my research, the top industry, because all of these young people, and I say young people, a lot of them have their degrees, but they got a little bored. And then COVID came around, and it's like, oh, you feel like, what am I doing? So they're discovering there's a need. Our job is to find out what that need is and fill it. We all are educated on some level or other. We all are. And when we start talking to each other, then we understand we're so much alike, and hey, I can do this, I can add this. So technology is the #1 industry within the next, I would say, by 2030 and beyond, to produce the most millionaires over there. Who are those millionaires going to be? Those millennials and so forth. The second industry is agriculture. Agriculture is an old person term. The kids are going to run from that, so they call it agri. And they're blending technology with it. I dare you to go over to Africa. Go. If you haven't traveled. Going to Dubai has made me look at food in a total different way now. It makes me appreciate everybody. I think this thing like playing with me. Oh, look, I didn't do it in a couple of weeks, so I forgot. But I love speaking to you all right? And again, my name is Kareen Linton. Coco is a childhood nickname. And once the student heard it, they started adding chef to it, Chef Coco. So a dash of Coco, LIC, is just that, given a dash, because I'm filled up with all kinds of spices of inspiration and so forth. I encourage you to go beyond just the office. People are starting to go back out to work now. Brandon said something. Pack your food, cook your food, and pack it. This way you know what's within. And I promise you, do you know how much money you'll save? You save so much. So, I'm not sure if my time is up, but anybody have any questions? Come on, talk to me. How you doing? Talk to me, talk to me. Y'all gonna leave me up here on the stage by myself? Yeah.
So I recently got into cooking again as a chef. What is your favorite, like, non-traditional thing to grill? You mentioned lemons, so like I was thinking about what other things could I throw on the grill that I might not have thought of?
Fruit, besides the lemon? You can grill fruit too. You can grill watermelon, peaches. These all have sugar in it. So you just, manage that heat. Don't put them on the side of the grill that's really, really hot, unless you want it like that. Because you caramelize, but not char. Char is bitter. Pineapple. A slice of pineapple on the grill, allow it to caramelize. You got some rum? You got some rum? You don't want to talk to me? Right? Take that rum and then a little brown sugar. Swirl it around in the pan so the granules dissolve within the rum. If you got a little bit of, not vanilla, essence, drop it in there and swirl it. Put in a piece of butter, swirl it. When you add the butter, that's called mountain. It allows that sauce with the sugar to come together just slightly. Place your steak or chicken or fish, and then that slice of pineapple, and take the pan. You want to show off in front of your friends? Don't get no spoon. Swirl it. Take the pan. Dip it over like that. I dare you. One more? You good? Okay. All right, so thank you all. And this has been a pleasure. My friends call me Coco, and you can call me Coco too. Have a great evening.